We are live. Hi there, folks. Welcome. I'm Kevin Donlin. Thank you for joining me today. This is Marketing Multipliers, 3 secrets to more clients, especially if you sell a service. It's a lunch and learn video training session, meaning over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you some ideas. You're welcome to munch on a sandwich, have a pizza, whatever you're doing. It's lunchtime in roughly half of the United States as we record this, as we do this live, rather. And in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you 3 simple tools you can use to build your business, to get more new clients, especially if you sell a service. As we go today, there should be an interface. If you're watching this on Google Plus or Google Hangouts, you can type in your questions. I've got a screen open on my computer now, and I can answer them as we go along. If you're watching this on your mobile phone or YouTube Live, probably can't do that. But if you have any questions after we finish up today, email them to me. I'm happy to answer. My email address, I'll give it to you twice if you want to write it down. It's K, just the letter K, at clientcloningsystems.com. That's K at clientcloningsystems.com. But if you can, ask your questions live as we go, and I'll do my best to answer them. This is my first Google Hangout in over a year. So there are going to be gaffes. There are going to be mishaps. There are going to be screw ups. Just deal with it. I'm going to. It's like a stock car race. Come for the excitement, stay for the accidents. And we're going to do the best we can to get through the next 30 minutes or so with a minimum of mishaps. But it's going to be fun. It's live. And I think you'll forgive me. I want to give you some really good content that you can use right away to build your business. Let me give you a quick bio. Some of you who registered may not know me from Adam. I want to tell you quickly who I am. Then we'll talk about what is marketing. I'll give you kind of a really cool working definition. Then we'll transition right into marketing multipliers. These are simple, small little things you can do to build your business. And at the end, I'll give you an easy way to get these, to get you 3 free gifts that I'll be giving away today, just to thank you for watching this. So quick bio on me. I've been in marketing since 1994. Got started and fascinated by marketing after reading a sales letter from this really strange genius in California. His name was Jay Abraham. I subscribed to his newsletter back in 1994, and I've been hooked on marketing ever since. Right about November of 1994, I was kind of an accidental pioneer of online marketing. I started selling what is now called an ebook, but it was really just a text file. It was a special report, and I sold it on Usenet, which was a collection of bulletin boards. Before there was a web, there were no pictures, videos, nothing. It was just bulletin boards. And on Usenet, I sold this thing. It was a special report. It was called How to Find a Job on the Internet. It was $10, and you had to write me a check. And on the check, on the memo line of the check, you had to write your email address. And in turn, when I got your check, I would email you the file. And I really don't know how or why I got into that, but it was my introduction to e-commerce. Made a few $100. It was beer money. But that was e-commerce back in 1994. Shortly after that, I got involved with a little company from Memphis, Tennessee called FedEx. They were the #1 client of the marketing communications firm that I worked for in Minneapolis. From 1995 to 1998, I was webmaster for FedEx.com. They needed help with this thing called a website. They didn't really know what to do with it. It was pretty much brand new in the summer of 1995. And I was selected for this project because I remember when I applied for my job at the marketing communications firm, my resume had an email address at the top. And they thought, this guy is different. He knows something about this internet thing. We'll give it to Kevin. And so they gave me the project. And at the very beginning, FedEx.com had 6 web pages. I'll never forget that, 6 web pages. And they were getting email questions from people. Where's my package? How do I do this? What's going on? And the whole main function of FedEx.com was to track a package. That was pretty much it. And also to tell you how the services worked. It was more brochureware than anything else, but it was a very useful application as well, because it let you track a package. So in the beginning, they were getting about half a dozen emails a day from all over the world. And fast forward, at the end of 2 years, I had 2 people working full-time with me. We were answering more than 400, 500, 600 emails a day from people around the country, around the world. So FedEx.com was my introduction to serious e-commerce and the power of just one good idea, one good thing that works supremely well. People will tell others, and your revenues and your user base will explode. That's what happened to FedEx.com. They went from 6 web pages to many, many thousands of other web pages, from 4 or 5 emails a day to hundreds a day. Now today, 23 years later, it's thousands and thousands of emails a day and contacts a day. But over the course of about 2.5 years, I believe, in fact, I know I answered well over 10,000 emails from FedEx clients. And that kind of burned some really valuable muscle memory into my brain. I got a really good handle on what people are looking for online, what they want, and what it takes to satisfy people. So that's been a really big service to me over the years as I've been involved with marketing. Around 1998, I started working with small businesses here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then around the country, of course, because it was on the internet. But I was writing copy for them. That's just words that sell. I am a copywriter and a marketing optimizer. The optimizing is just making things better. We're going to be sharing some ideas with you today that'll make your marketing better. But as a copywriter, I write words that sell. It's typically direct mail pieces, email promotions, web page copy, which is where I got my start, sales letter scripts, video sales letter scripts, those sorts of things. But, you know, one of my favorite definitions of marketing is from Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker said that the aim of marketing is to make selling unnecessary. So that's kind of a great working definition of marketing, which is anything you do to make selling unnecessary. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with marketing multipliers. These are little tools that make selling unnecessary or much easier for you. And that's kind of an exciting endeavor for me because there's no end to the amount of improvement that you can get if you just keep improving a little bit every day. You know, FedEx went from 6 web pages to thousands, 5 emails a day to hundreds. The internet speeds everything up. And you don't have to, you know, be online all the time to grow your business. But one of the nice things about the internet is that it's kind of exponential growth. It exposes you and your business to the whole planet, and you'll find out really quick if your ideas have merit and if there are people willing to pay you in terms of time and money for your ideas. And luckily, over the past year and a half or so, there's been a nice little fellowship for marketing multipliers. People are paying attention to these ideas. And I'm going to share 3 of the very best ones with you today. Real fast forward after 1998. Since then, I've been interviewed by Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Entrepreneur Magazine, Success Magazine, ABC TV in Detroit, NBC TV here in Minneapolis, Fox TV in Minneapolis, CBS Radio, New York, and Los Angeles. There's a long list. But the media pay attention to me and my ideas because they work. And that's important. The media won't interview you a second time, the major media, if your ideas don't have merit. So I've been very fortunate to get a wider audience for my marketing ideas over the years. And since then, I've been the author or co-author of 5 books, including the forthcoming title, Marketing Multipliers. That'll be coming out later this year. So that's a quick 2-minute introduction to who I am and where I'm from. Today, I want to share with you 3 of my latest and best tools to grow your business, as I said. So we've talked about marketing. Marketing is anything you do to make selling unnecessary. I want to talk next about marketing multipliers, which is kind of the subject of our talk today. To do that, I have to go back to 480 BC and illustrate with a story about the Spartans at Thermopylae. Because we're going to talk about a concept called force multipliers. Marketing multipliers have their roots in military history. A force multiplier is anything you do, anything added to a fighting force that makes it more effective. It could be tactics, training, morale, weapons. A very powerful example are the Spartans versus the Persians. There were 300 Spartans. This is historically pretty much accurate. In 480 BC, 300 Spartans against 150,000 Persians. And the Spartans held them off for 2 full days before they were surrounded from behind and wiped out. But 2 full days, 300 versus 150,000. How were they able to do it? With a very simple but incredibly powerful force multiplier. It was the land. The ground they chose to defend was a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae, and all the 150,000 Persians had to scrunch down and fight pretty much one-on-one for 2 full days. Well, if you do that against the Spartans, you're going to lose. They were the most fearsome warriors in the ancient world, and the numerical advantage of the Persians was completely negated because the Spartans were able to force the Persians down to a one-on-one battle. That's a very vivid example of a force multiplier. I want to give you another one. I hope this works on video. If you can see here, this is a ballpoint pen. Now, used ordinarily, it's a pen. It writes. But as a force multiplier, if someone grabs you from behind and you hit them right here on the elbow with this pen, that is going to end the fight. It's extremely painful if you hit someone on a joint, like a hand bone or wrist with this little pen. So used in a combat role, the pen becomes an extremely powerful, very effective little tiny, teeny, tiny little innocuous force multiplier. This can end a fight if you're attacked. So it's a ballpoint pen. It's also a weapon. It's a pen. It's a force multiplier. So some of the things I'm going to be talking to you about today, they have kind of dual use. They can be used in one sense, but used strategically correctly, they can be used as a marketing multiplier. So what is a marketing multiplier? A marketing multiplier is anything you add to your marketing that makes it more effective. It's typically low cost or no cost. It's often a mindset change, and it's typically low tech or even no tech. These are kind of three important criteria. And again, they can be simple little things that you add to your marketing that change the whole rules of the game, just like the Spartans were able to hold off a force that was 500 times bigger by making one small smart change. It's the same with your marketing. You can hold off bigger competitors by doing just a few things differently, and that's the beauty of marketing multipliers. Another way to look at a marketing multiplier, these are tools, right? Tools negate the need for skills. You could learn to make a fire by rubbing sticks together or using a bow drill, and you could learn that skill, and it's a great skill. Or you could use a match. That's a very powerful, handy little tool that gets you the same result, the fire. So I am a copywriter. It's taken me 20 years to get any good at this, and I'm pretty good now. But you don't have 20 years to learn what I know about writing sales letters and email promotions and such. So you can learn the skill of copywriting, or you can kind of learn the tools, and you can use the tools that'll give you really good results. And that's what I want to give to you today, because you're a busy business owner, especially if you sell a service, which is an intangible sale, and it's tough to make compared to selling a product. So we're going to be talking about tools today, which means you don't have to learn long and involved skills. Tools are things that work right out of the box. That's what marketing multipliers are. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about number one. I got 3 of them for you today. Let's talk about what I call the quick and dirty trick that brings you new referrals by mail, and it does so for about 80% of the savings over how you might otherwise do this. This is something I call the newsletter. Now notice the title, newsletter, 2 words. As a business owner, you may be familiar with the concept of newsletters, 1 word. A newsletter is typically 4 pages printed and mailed. It's got to be mailed, by the way, for this to be effective. An email newsletter is just not effective anymore. I won't go into it, but trust me on this. Email open rates are going down, and you want to be in the mailbox with your prospects or clients. A newsletter typically is a good way to do this. There are some drawbacks, however. It takes time and money to put together a 4-page printed newsletter in full color, and to print and mail that thing to your clients and prospects. It's certainly worth it if your economics support that. And a newsletter that shows up in your mailbox, it increases retention. It keeps your clients buying from you for longer because you're showing up tangibly in their mailbox. It increases referrals because a newsletter has pass-along values. People will show it to other people in their house or in their business. And it increases revenue when you're showing up every month in your clients and prospects mailboxes and you remind them of all that you have to offer. They're just going to buy from you more often. It's kind of axiomatic. So newsletters are great. I love them. I just got busy a few years ago and stopped sending mine. I used to print and mail one, did so for about 5 years. And a funny thing happened. My referrals dropped off. Not significantly, but it was enough for me to notice. So I just started thinking about, well, newsletters are great. I get it. I like newsletters, but what could I do that would be about 20% of the effort and time that would deliver 80% of the value of a printed newsletter? So I came up with the concept, the idea of a newsletter. It's 1 sheet of paper, 2 sides. And newsletter is what I send out now, a newsletter, 2 words. I'm going to break down what this is and how you can use it, but it's been fantastic for me. I'm now on my 3rd month of this, and every month I get a referral. Every month I get a new project. The ROI on this, I'm looking for my numbers. It is pretty incredible. It's more than $12,000 in revenue from simple little projects I've been doing on referral from people. Yeah, $12,000 total invested in 2 months and going on 3 months, $100 to print and mail these to a small audience over the last 2 months. Let me break down for you. There's no perfect way to do a newsletter, but I'm going to give you some elements that you should include in your newsletter, 2 words, 1 piece of paper. So first I start with a kind of a whimsical title and an introduction. This is called Happy Bastille Day. I wrote this and mailed this in July when everyone and their brother was talking about the 4th of July. I wanted to be different, and you should too. So I started talking about Bastille Day. I said it's an important holiday, and it was a revolution in France. Hey, you can revolutionize your business with just a few small changes to your marketing. And so that overly clever segue went into the body of the newsletter itself. So this is very simple and effective to do. What I've done here is down here, I've got one lesson, and on the back, I've got lesson number 2. So the whole concept of a newsletter is to share valuable news and information that your readers can make use of. So in this issue, I simply took from the notes that I had from my $4,000 weekend seminar I attended back in June. And I told folks, hey, I pulled out about 25 lessons. Here are 2 of the most valuable ones. And I just shared them in the newsletter. And these were ideas that people could use right away to build their business. People loved this thing. They emailed me and called and thanked me for sending it to them. So the elements that you want to include are kind of a timely, topical opening, seasonal, monthly, whatever. And then you want to include news of value to your readers that they can use. And the third thing, which is important, you want to include a call to action. Call to action is simply saying, hey, do this now, get in touch with me. So I gave them a couple. At the very end of the newsletter, I wrote, well, that's all for July. I hope you find these lessons valuable. Let me know what you think. You can call me at my number or email me at my address. That was the first call to action. That was kind of low key. I also included a PS. By the way, you should include a PS in every letter that you write because the PS always gets read. I said, PS, I'm never too busy to talk to you or anyone you know who needs money-making copy. If you want to learn about the magazine ad I created for Gardner's Mattress and More, or the new website copy I wrote for Green Test Prep, give me a call at 612-567-6642. Now, Gardner's Mattress and More, that was a story I included in the newsletter about a print ad that I did for one of my clients. It was a huge home run for them. And then the Green Test Prep was another client. I doubled his sales in 30 days by making some changes to his website copy. So by giving some examples of really good success stories that should excite my readers, and then saying, if you want to learn more, give me a call. That's a very effective call to action. As I said, I've mailed out 2 of these so far over the past 60 days and had 2 referrals and 2 projects, more than $12,000 in revenue as a result of this newsletter. So here's why I like this thing. I'm just going to repeat it because it's so important. This is about 20% of the time and the money that it would take to create a standard printed newsletter, but it delivers about 80% of the value. I've just taken all the most valuable parts of a 4-page newsletter and crammed them into 2 pages here. And so this is one of my favorite examples of a marketing multiplier because it's very low cost. As I said, $100. I've mailed it to about 25, 30 people each month over the past 2 months. Low cost, no tech. It's paper, folks. You just need to print the thing and mail it with a stamp. And it's a small little thing that delivers big results. So our first tool today, the newsletter, I recommend that you give this a try. If you don't have, by the way, if you don't have the mailing addresses of your clients or prospects or referral partners, you got to get those. You really don't have a real business. If you're entirely online, you're completely at the whim of Google or Facebook, Twitter, whoever, LinkedIn, and you're screwed. Long-term, you're screwed. You need to get the mailing addresses of your clients and other people who matter, and you can start using them to mail a newsletter starting this month. I highly recommend that you give that a shot. The second tool we're going to talk about, this is how I have delivered to myself over $133,000 in recurring revenue and counting over the past year and a half. I call this the ideal client card. This, like most of my best ideas, this is not my idea. I borrowed it. Remember I told you about my friend Jay Abraham, my mentor. He has a concept called funnel vision. Tunnel vision is how most people look at the world, especially in their business. They just do what other people are doing in their industry. They just have a narrow focus. Funnel vision is like a parabola antenna or a radar antenna. Funnel vision, you're bringing in ideas and concepts from other industries and from all over the place. And so the idea of an ideal client card I actually got from a book, which has nothing to do with business, but you ought to get it. It's called Smarter, Better, Faster. by Charles Duhigg. He's the author of The Power of Habit. But I was reading in here about how a failing school district, I believe it was in Cincinnati, turned things around completely. They doubled their student scores in 8 months with no extra investment in technology. It was a completely no-tech option. And I thought, well, if it can double student scores, maybe it can double my revenues. It's been very good for my revenues. They haven't doubled yet, but it's been a huge ROI. So let me quickly go give you some background on the ideal client card. It looks like this. I've kind of had to remove the picture of the client, but on it, on this ideal client card, and here are the actual ones that I have on my desk, the backs of them, you put the following. You put the picture of your ideal client. You put the source. Where did you get them? Was it a referral? If so, from whom? You put the monthly revenue or whatever other metric matters to you. You put their lifetime revenue, which you'll add up every month so that it gets bigger and bigger each month as you retain them. You put down referrals. Have these people sent you any referrals? And finally, I have this section called Upside on my ideal client card. Upside simply is where I'll put in ideas for how I can be of more service and more value to my clients. So you may have heard of the concept of, the avatar client, the ideal client. And I've told people in the past to put a picture on your computer monitor so that you can literally see, what your ideal clients look like. And that's fine, that works. But this, in my experience, has worked supremely well, far better, because I'm physically interacting with the data. And in the book, I won't read to you, but in Smarter, Faster, Better, what the school district found was when the teachers had an online dashboard that showed all the student scores and it was there on their computer screen, they were involved with the data passively. And as a result, they got kind of low value passive results. Not much was changing because you're just looking at the data on a screen. So what they did was the school district forced the teachers to start writing test scores and other important data on 3x5 cards for their students. And they had to go in a certain room and sift through the cards every day, or at least every week, and look for patterns and interact with the data. And the teachers hated it at first. But when they started interacting with these cards and sifting and sorting, and again, here are my actual ones. These are my ideal clients. I've got 5 of them. When you start looking through, you're going to start to see patterns. Oh, I got this client from the same referral source as this one. That's 2. Maybe I need to be doing more with that referral partner. Yes. Or this client pays me X dollars a month and this client pays me Y dollars a month. What could I do to be more valuable to that other client so that they will pay me more? What has worked for this client? What hasn't worked for this client? What referrals have I got? When you start seeing this data along with their pictures and you're handling it every day, it changes things. I can't explain how, but it makes it more real and relevant to you. And an ideal client card is one of my favorite little tools. It has certainly skyrocketed my revenues. It's helping me retain these clients. And let me step back and give you a background. These 5 clients here, they're on retainer with me. They pay me a monthly fee, and I write as much copy and give them as much strategic advice as can fit in the number of hours that they're paying for every month. And when you have retainer clients, you want to retain them because it's recurring revenue. You don't have to, you're going to get paid every month. And so whether or not you have retainer clients, it doesn't matter. All you need are ideal clients. And this is a terrific way to get more of them because you're interacting with the data all the time, daily for me. And I'm finding new insights. I'm finding new ways to be more useful to these people. Some quick results that I've had using it just in the past, again, 2 months. It's been more than that, but the things I wrote down here, I doubled my monthly revenue for one of these retainer clients. How? I was just being more valuable to him because I was going through his card looking for ways to be of more service. And he said, I got to buy more hours. You got to be doing more stuff for me. So this was a huge win for me. Doubled my retainer with one of my key clients. I got another client from the same referral source as one of my ideal clients simply because I saw a pattern. Hey, this same referral source has sent me 2 of my ideal clients. So I got to go back to that guy and get on his radar and be useful to him. I did that, bam, another referral. And then I got from one of my clients, another referral from him and the promise of a new project. I could go on, but this is all incremental free revenue. There's no acquisition cost. I'm just being of more service to my ideal clients because they are top of mind. And that's because they are top of desk. They're right here on my desktop. I can't miss them. I never lose sight of who my best clients are. And so the ideal client card couldn't be any easier. I did my first ones, by the way, over lunch 3 months ago. So it was a 30-minute project. and I created my first 5 ideal clients. I don't have time to read again the specifics of what is on an ideal client card because we're running out of time here, but that's what it looks like. And here, of course, is the actual picture of the client. I just don't want to show it to you because I want to preserve their anonymity. So those are 2 marketing multipliers tools. We just have a few minutes left. I want to quickly transition to our third one. This I call the client reactivation email. Now, for whatever reason, we are always going to have clients, people who have stopped buying from us, and it just happens. The number one reason why, by the way, is not because they moved or died or hate you. It's because they forgot about you. You just stopped being in touch with them in a meaningful fashion. So no matter what business you have, if you've been in business for more than a year or so, you've got inactive clients, people who have stopped buying from you. Now, as a direct mail copywriter, I advise my clients, if your economics support it, you ought to go after these people with a campaign of about 3 touches, 2 letters and a postcard, and you'll reactivate them. It always works if you're any good at what you do, and you're going to see a nice ROI. But for a lot of people, you're too busy or you're intimidated by direct mail. Fine. This is a 22-word, not page. This is a 22-word email. And I send this about every 2 months to my clients. I'll read it to you. The results have been pretty cool, by the way, but here's the email. Checking in to see how your April is going, period. Please let me know, exclamation point. Beyond that, what can I do to help you? Question mark. That's it. So the first time I did this, I sent it to 5 inactive clients in April, and I got 4 replies to that email. That's pretty nice. And I got 2 phone calls set up with those clients. And I got 2 quick little projects, more than $5,600 in high net revenue because there was no acquisition cost for these clients. They came back to me because I went out to them with a simple little message. I'll read it again. It couldn't get any easier than this. Checking in to see how your April is going, period. Please let me know, exclamation point. Beyond that, what can I do to help you? Question mark. That's it, folks. Obviously, you should make this seasonal. If it's August, don't ask how their April is going, but you can change that every month. And you're just offering to be of service to people. You're starting a conversation, and that's what you want to do. And so the email conversation turned into a phone conversation, turned into 2 new projects. Bam. So that's the client reactivation email. Kind of got a hustle here. So these are examples of marketing multipliers. And these are small, simple tools that build your business. They replace skills with tools. That's what's key about this. They're low cost, no cost, and often no tech. So it couldn't get any easier than this. What I'd like to do is invite you to try a box of 11 marketing multipliers. I've got more, but I'd like you to try a box of 11 marketing multipliers. You can have them shipped directly to your door. If you visit www.marketingmultipliers.com today, you can get your first box sent to you for $1 shipping charge. It actually doesn't cover shipping. I lose money on this, believe me, but I just want to start the process and have you invest $1 to make sure that you're serious. But for $1, you can get a box of 11 tools sent to you by box. And when I say box, I mean box. It's going to look like this when it arrives. Inside are some pretty cool items. You get the $10,800 thank you note. I'll explain why it's worth $10,800 when you get your box. You get a playbook, which ties everything together and explains how the tools work. You get something called the paper email, which is really just direct mail for super busy people. No matter how busy you are, you can send a paper email to your clients and prospects and it'll pay you back. And among the other tools you get every month, you get a copy critique certificate. This puts me to work in your business because I'll review any direct mail piece, sale, email promotion, webpage, whatever. Send it to me. I'll give you my comments on how to improve it. And I've got testimonials just on this copy critique certificate. People love this. For a lot of people, it's the most valuable part of their membership. It's a monthly box that you get every month. The first box is free and you get a copy critique certificate. So I really recommend that you take advantage of this today. Go over to marketingmultipliers.com, request your first box today. Now here's what I'll do for you. Because you're watching this video, I will also, it's not mentioned on the website, but because you're watching this video, just mention this video after you order. I'll send you today free the download of the tools that we talked about today, the ideal client card, the client reactivation email, and the newsletter. You can start using them today to build your business today. And I highly recommend that you give this a try. You can't lose. It's $1. If you don't like it, let me know. I'll refund the $1. And you can cancel anytime. It's a monthly program. Different tools come to you every month along with my best tips and advice and the copy critique certificate. So go over to www.marketingmultipliers.com. There should also be a link below this video on the Google Plus page. Take advantage of this offer. Give Marketing Multipliers a try. I'd love to send you your first free box. And if you do that while you're watching this video, because you're watching this video, mention it after you enroll and give this a try, and I'll send you today's tools for free: the client reactivation email, the sales, the newsletter, and then what was my other one? The ideal client card. So I hope you take advantage of this today. Thanks very much for watching. Go over to www.marketingmultipliers.com. I look forward to sending you your first free box of Marketing Multipliers, and thanks very much for watching.